heard about salary increase ranging from 500,000 to 1 million rupiah. How do you view this increase, especially when considering its impact on teacher welfare?
Well, it's a complex issue for non-ASN teachers, especially those who have been earning below the living wage. The increase of 2 million is a game changer. It could mean a significant improvement in the day-to-day lives.
Hello everyone, good afternoon. Welcome to my mini podcast with me, Rifki Prawinanda, as a student in Computer Science in Medan State University, and my guest, Miss Ma'am Karija Virus MPD, as a lecturer in Medan State University. Our study topics is about teacher salary increase in 2025 in Indonesia. And please welcome.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here and share some thoughts in this crucial topic.
Let's dive back now. We heard about salary increase ranging from 500,000 to 1 million rupiah. How do you view this increase, especially when considering its impact on teacher welfare?
Well, it's a complex issue for non-ASN teachers, especially those who have been earning below the living wage. The increase of 2 million is a game changer. It could mean a significant improvement in the day-to-day lives, helping them cover basic needs like food, transportation, or even saving for emergencies. However, for ASN teachers, the increase of around 500,000, which often equates to about one basic salary increment, might not be as impactful. This is especially true for teachers in higher ranks or those living in urban areas where the cost of living is much higher. Inflation and rising costs of goods and services can quickly erode the benefits of this increase.
That makes sense, but beyond financial welfare, what do you think the salary boost should translate to better teaching quality in the classroom?
Salary increases can definitely boost morale and motivation, which are essential for any profession. When teachers feel valued, they are more likely to be engaged and commit to their work. However, improving the quality of teaching requires more than just financial incentives. The teacher needs access to regular professional development programs, updated teaching materials, and better infrastructure. For example, many teachers in rural areas they lack basic teaching tools or internet access, which limits their ability to innovate the classroom. In universities, we face similar challenges. Lecturers need funding for research and opportunities to collaborate with peers to stay current in their field.
I see. The next point is not just about the salary, but also the environment in which they work. What about other challenges teachers face? Are there significant issues beyond salary that affect their welfare?
Absolutely, there are several pressing issues. First, administrative burden. Teachers often have to juggle a heavy administrative workload, filling out reports, managing student reports, and dealing with bureaucratic process. This takes away valuable time that could be spent on lesson planning or interacting with students. Second, lack of health and social security, especially for non-ISN teachers. Access to health insurance and social security is limited. This creates a lot of uncertainty and stress, particularly in emergencies. And third, limited access to professional development. Continuous learning is crucial for teachers to stay updated with new teaching methods and technologies. Unfortunately, many teachers, especially in remote areas, struggle to access relevant training programs.
Those are significant challenges, but with this salary increases too, do you think more teachers will be motivated to join certification programs?
Possibly, but it's not a straightforward path. Certification is not important milestone for teachers. It validates their skills and often comes with additional financial benefits. However, the process is time-consuming and costly. Teachers need to attend training sessions, take exams, and sometimes even travel to different cities and workshops. If the government can provide financial assistance, reduce bureaucratic hurdles, and offer more flexible options for certification, born teacher might be encouraged to participate. As a lecturer, I see certification as a critical step toward professional growth, but it needs to be accessible and affordable.
I see. Then let's talk about fairness. There's been a lot of discussion about the disparity between SN and non-SN teachers in terms of salary increase. What's your take on that?
This is a sensitive issue. Non-SN teachers often work just as hard as the SN counterparts, sometimes even taking on additional responsibilities. Yet their salaries and benefits are significantly lower. This raises questions about fairness and equity. In universities, we face similar disparities between permanent lecturers and contract lecturers. Contract lecturers often have the same teaching load but receive fewer benefits and job security. Addressing these disparities is crucial if we want to build a fair and sustainable education system.
Okay, exactly. As a lecturer, how do you think this increase will impact the public perception of the teaching profession?
Raising salaries can definitely improve the image of teaching as a profession. It signals that the government values educators and recognize their contributions of society. This could attract more talented young people to consider teaching as a viable career option. However, salary alone won't be enough. Teaching must be seen as a respected profession with clear career paths, opportunities for growth, and adequate support. Only then can we ensure a steady influx of passionate and skilled educators.
Okay, thank you, ma'am, for your insight for these discussions. How important is for salary increase to be a part of a larger, more comprehensive strategy for improving education in Indonesia?
Thank you. I hope this discussion continue and that we can all work together, government, educators, and society, to support our teachers and lecturers.
And that's a wrap for today's episode of Mini Podcast. Thanks for tuning in, And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Goodbye.